Will not put a ceiling on Victor Wembanyama.
It's going to be really, really exciting.
All right, so it's time now for a little coast-to-coast Emirates NBA Cup edition as we continue with breaking the news of this season's schedule. We're going to start now with the Grizzlies visiting the Warriors. This one's on November 15th. Now that Ja Morant is back, Memphis is, fingers crossed, healthy. Perk, will this rivalry be heating up again this season?
I believe so. Anytime you have two guys like Ja Morant and Draymond Green, two trash talkers, absolutely going to be smoke there. Also, you know, with Marcus Smart, Steph Curry, and Steve Kerr, it's a little tension there as well.
This is going to be fun. How about this? The Emirates NBA Cup continues that Friday night. The Timberwolves, they face off against the Kings. Tim, did the Kings close the gap this offseason?
I definitely think they did. And in talking with Mike Brown out in Vegas, he could not have been more ecstatic over adding DeMar DeRozan to this group. It's the key piece that they needed. A big wing, a proven scorer, a playoff scorer, someone that can supplement the offense for De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. Keegan Murray also has to take a step forward. But this is all about what DeMar DeRozan brings to the Kings.
Well, how about this one? Two guys we always are talking about in the MVP conversation, Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic. Well, Friday, November 22nd, the Mavs head to Denver. These two teams, last two Western Conference Finals teams. Andrea, which team has a better chance to make a return here?
Oh, this is brutal because the West is so tough, but I'm going to go with the Mavs. I felt like Denver, they had a lackluster offseason. They lose their 3-and-D guy in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I have more questions for Denver, and Klay Thompson is the ultimate answer for Dallas.
Well, what about this one? Now the Emirates NBA Cup, it wouldn't be complete, right, without the latest showdown between Chet Holmgren and Wemby. They each went at each other last season. Chet, of course, got the edge and wins 2-1, but Victor had better numbers. 20 points, 13 rebounds, 4 blocks in 3 games, and no one's going to forget who took home the Rookie of the Year award last season. So, Tim Legler, what have you seen in these matchups that we could be in for here?
Yeah, Malika, look, I could give you a lot of eye candy on either one of these guys because that's how much I like both of them, but I'm going to focus a little bit more on Victor Wembanyama because one thing I kept saying about him last year was every night I watched Victor Wembanyama, I felt like he made a play on both ends of the floor, that he was the only person on the planet that could make those plays. Let's take a look at what I'm talking about. And this is actually a nice read to start off by Chet Holmgren. You come off this action off the down screen. This is where he likes to catch it. Now, he could have just stopped at the three-point line and taken this three. If that's the case, though, now you got Victor closing from the high side. That's going to be a contested shot against a very long defender. So instead, I like what Chet does right here. He looks up. He sees he's got a guy backpedaling. So let's take this thing downhill, get into the gut of the defense, and let's spin out of it and try to get this ball to the rim. What I want you to focus on, though, is where Wembanyama's coming from. So he started out here. He was engaged with the screen. This is no longer his man. And take a look at Chet Holmgren. He's going to extend that long arm at the rim. He's going to get the ball to the front of the rim. But take a look at where Wembanyama leaves his feet from. One foot is basically above the dotted line. The other one's right in the middle of the lane. And he is still able to go over the top, meet this at the rim without fouling. An incredible play, incredible length. This is why this guy is a game changer defensively. Other end of the floor, same thing. This length, there's just no answer for it sometimes. This is one of their pet stats they like to run. You go run a baseline screen, and now Victor has the option. Do you want to run baseline and come over here into the post, or do you want to flash to the high post? It's all dependent on what the defender does. And take a look at Chet Holmgren. So he's going to cheat this. He's going to jump to the baseline. So that triggers for Wembanyama. He knows now he's going to break up here to catch the basketball. This is actually ends up being a great closeout by Chet Holmgren. He covers all this ground from under the rim to meet him where he catches it. But this is when I talk about no one else in the league is making this play. Stop it here. He catches this basketball, and I want you to look at his feet. He is straddling the foul line. 1 foot on either side of the foul line as this ball comes to him. Chet Holmgren makes a great closeout, meets him right here. Watch what Victor Wembanyama does. And I'm going to play this live in a second so you can really appreciate it with all this stuff off the screen. He steps through, goes right to the rim. No dribble from the foul line and dunks the basketball. I mean, this is shocking. He catches the basketball off a flash to the high post, does not need a dribble, and covers basically 15 feet with 2 strides and dunks it over Chet Holmgren, who's one of the better rim protectors in the league. This is the stuff I'm talking about with Victor Wembanyama, that he just makes you go, wow, every night you watch him on both ends of the floor.
Eye candy was the perfect descriptor of all of that.
NBA